Hey, good morning, Ocoee region. Yes, it is me again. It's Tony Miles, and I am here with another amazing guest. I can't talk this morning. I've been in meetings since early this morning, and I'm so excited about my guest today. I think I'm tongue tied a little bit. But before I go into this man and his family business, I just want to share a little secret with all of you guys. But tomorrow is my birthday. And yes, I'm sharing it with you. And I'm so excited that it will be a happy new year for me. Ooh, come on, somebody, catch that. A happy new year. And I'm looking forward to what God has in store in this new season. I know He is raising me up for the next level, and I am expecting breakthrough, major blessings, and miracles, not just for me, but for my family, for you, and this whole community. So I'm going to be spending my day, seeking the Lord, not for myself, but for you, this community, and this nation. Amen? So guess what? I love interviewing companies that are, their CEO is a godly man, and they operate on godly principles. So today, I bring to you a great organization here in our local community, although they serve several counties in this area, the Ocoee region, but they also get calls nationally. And I don't want to give a whole lot away. I just want to introduce to you this man of God and welcome him to the show. So to you, I introduce Charles Atkins.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm so glad you're here.
Glad to be here.
And you are with PuroClean.
PuroClean Property Damage Experts.
Oh, I love that. And I just have to share just real quickly how you and I met. I think you met my pastor. Mm-hmm. And y'all, I think it was a 4th of July, and y'all were at a fireworks thing.
Yep.
And I think you were giving out free watermelon or something like that to everybody that came. Mm-hmm. And he met you, and you guys connected, and we were preparing for one of our life clinics, our medical clinics.
Yes.
And you became a major sponsor. I remember he said, you need to call this man. I called you, and you became a major sponsor of the Life Clinic, and you all had recently moved to this area.
Yes, at that time we hadn't been here long, about 8 months.
About 8 months, yes. So you got connected with our church, you got connected to the clinic, and then you didn't know, you ended up helping us set it up, move it. I'm telling you, you were such a blessing that we have been in partnership ever since, and you are not only a family man, a husband, a father, but you are a great community leader in this community. And you have a heart for people and organizations who help people.
That's right.
So I wanted people to know all that, okay? All right? And I know that you weren't going to say all that about yourself, so I wanted to say that.
Thank you.
Okay? But I would love for you to first, before we get into PuroClean and all that you do, I want to hear Charles's heart. I want you to look in that camera and talk to the audience of Hidden Gems of the Ocoee region and tell them your testimony.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like to give my testimony. Each day when I wake up, I never really know what that day holds, because my first thing is I give myself to the Lord.
Yes.
Yes. I do.
Yes.
And never know what God's going to bring my way. And before I go any farther, I'm going to give you an instance, just like yesterday.
Okay.
And this is just one day. We responded to a call down in toward Chattanooga, and it was a young couple. You know, she had a baby on her hip, and you could tell that I always assess everything. They couldn't afford to get anything done, and then I talked to him a little bit more, and he's a missionary.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Look at God.
Yeah, so I seen really quick, they can't afford to get this done. So I told them, I said, just don't worry about it. I'm going to call my guys, get them in here, we'll get this done, and we'll go on. Well, I get back to the shop, and I'm getting ready to leave. I already locked the door of the shop, and I seen this girl walking my way across the street. I knew she was coming my way, and you know, your first instinct is to go the other way.
Yes.
So I'm picking up trash out of my parking lot, clean it up before I go. And I'll go over to the dumpster, throw it in, and I still see her coming my way. So I just went ahead and turned back. She asked me if she could use my phone. I said, yes, ma'am. She used my phone, couldn't get a hold of anybody. She asked me for water, and I was already drinking on that. And I said, I'm already drinking on this one. And I stood there just a minute. I said, hang on, you know, let me, if you're going to make another call, let me go get her water. So I went in to get her a water, and God said, get her 2 waters. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I got her 2 waters, brought it back out to her, and handed them to her, didn't think nothing about it. Started walking away, and she said, hey. I said, yeah. She said, why did you give me 2 waters? I said, because I wanted to make sure you had enough. She said, wow. So she said was, wow, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I ended up taking her to the homeless shelter. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because she had nowhere to go.
Yes.
But the biggest thing on that is not just what I done, but what I can do now, pray. You know,
Yes.
she gave me her name.
Yes.
So now I can pray for her,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
That's what life is about every day, you know. We are in business. I have to make money. I have
Yes.
to pay my employees because they have to pay their bills.
Yes. And take care of their families.
Yes.
Yes.
But God forbid if I ever get to where I don't have time to see that person that needs a water, or that person that can't afford to get something done.
Mm-hmm.
And he always blesses us back.
Yes, he does.
You know, sometimes I can't see that at the time. I'm thinking, oh, me, Lord, you know we got a lot to pay.
Yes.
But he has never, down through my life, it's been like this. You know, me and Sharon's been together for 22 years, and it was something about her coming into my life that caused a lot of this.
Yes.
God knew my heart, but he knew I needed somebody that was going to push that out of me, and
Yes.
that's her.
Well, you know, a lot of people confuse that thing is that, you know, the way God set up the whole system.
Yeah.
And we are the influencer to our mate.
Yeah.
Okay? And so, you know, and we are, you know, come together as one. If we're going to be one, then we push what is best out of each of us.
We do.
Okay?
Most definitely.
So that, yeah.
Well, we started out, our first mission trip was to Brazil.
Okay.
Didn't have a clue what we were doing. Not a clue, but we just did it.
Amen.
And oh my goodness, it was such a rewarding trip for us, and hooked us is what it did. And I always told Bob Pace with
Yes.
the Men and Women of Action, I know you
Yes.
know him.
Yes.
He hooked us is what he did. Well, you know, Bob Pace would call me every few weeks, and he'd say, Charles, have you thought any more about disaster relief? Bob, I don't know a thing about disaster relief.
Yes.
Well, just try it. Just try it. That's all you have to do. He said, if you'll just make the first effort, God will do the rest of it. Well, when the hurricanes hit eastern North Carolina, and I believe it was 99,
99, yeah.
God spoke to my heart. And actually, he did it through my wife. My wife said, are you going to do anything or not? And I said, what are you talking about? Because at that time, I worked at home. I was a broker. And she said, well, you're fidgeting. You know, I do that when I fidget, and I walk the floor.
Yeah.
She said, you're fidgeting. She said, you need to do something.
Wow.
So I said, okay. What am I going to do? She said, well, you got all kinds of connections. Just use them. So I did it. And lo and behold, within a week's time, We had a tractor and trailer rolling. We had a warehouse. We had a forklift. And before it was over, we had 15 loads of product to the east coast of North Carolina.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I was a greenhorn, so the first load we took, I took a crew with me to go unload the truck and do what we could do.
Right.
Well, I didn't prepare for my crew. I was just thinking about getting that stuff there. And we got there, well, you don't want to take anything that you take in to eat, you know?
Right.
So we get there, and there's nothing open. It was a hurricane.
Yeah, everybody's clothes shut down.
So it wasn't nothing open to get anything to eat. And everybody's, we had a good-sized crew. At that time, Harrison wasn't but like 2 years old.
Okay.
And, of course, Sharon brought him stuff. But
Right.
we had to wait till 11 o'clock at night when we headed back up the road.
Wow.
I felt so bad. My crew loved me, but they were getting cranky by that time.
They were ready to find something to eat, right?
But, Tony, God has used me over these years. I worked for the Church of God. I went to work. At that time,
Yes.
the Church of God asked me to come to work for them. And we did. It was a hard decision because we went to work for the church for 1/8 of what we were making in our business. 1/8.
Well, I've been there.
But we knew in our heart
It
that's
was
what
a
we were
God
supposed to do.
assignment. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we went and did what we did because they moved us up to Western North Carolina to our conference center, and it did need a lot of work, and it needed a lot of love, and God blessed us to do that. And we're servants, so we enjoyed it. When we had camp meetings and when we had all these other things, we just loved it.
Amen.
And just as we was getting settled in, I'm talking they built. At that time, the overseer, Dr. Donnie Smith,
Okay.
he built a house, and I know why. He didn't build it for me. It was because he knew my wife and knew what she gave up, and he wanted her to have a nice home.
Wow.
So they built us a nice home.
Look
But we
at God.
Yeah, but evidently we got too comfortable.
Okay.
In late 2003, he calls me up, and at that time he had went to Florida. He said, Charles, I need your help down here. Well, I'm a mountain man.
Right.
I'm not no flatlander. I'm a mountain man.
Yes.
And he said, just come on down here. He said, I'll pay you wage. Come on down here and check it out. So I went down there, and we stayed 3 days, and he showed us everything, and I checked it out really good. And when it was all said and done, I said, nope, I'm going back to the mountains. I didn't tell him that at that time, but I told Sharon, I said, we're going home.
Okay. Okay.
We got back, and honest, I couldn't do nothing right. This is how God works now. I'm telling you this story.
Come on.
Everything I did was wrong.
Yeah.
Well, in February of 2004, he calls me back, and he said, Charles, you're my friend, right? I said, well, sure I am. He said, I got to have your help. He said, if you don't come and help me, I don't know what I'm going to do. So he pulled a friend card on me.
Yeah.
So I prayed, and I said, all right, Lord, if this is really you, then you got to tell me through my wife. And it wasn't too long. She come to me one day. She said, we got to go.
But isn't it something how God would tighten up that shoe
Oh, yeah.
when you hear him
Yeah.
and you ignore him? Okay, because that's what it is.
He knows how to do
no
it,
matter
too.
how you justify it in your mind, you're ignoring him, and things that came natural to you before,
Yeah. Didn't know more.
all of a sudden doesn't work. It doesn't work anymore, and that's when you know that season is over.
Yeah. Even as good as it was, I was right in the middle of the Great Smoky Mountains in a brand new home and a brand new facility.
Yes.
Because they had just let me do everything to it because it needed it.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, every time I turned around, I was in trouble.
You had completed the assignment.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
And so in 2004, in June, we moved to Florida. Not unbeknowing what was coming in August to Florida. Thinking I was going down there to run that convention center. Mm-hmm. And we did. We worked hard all summer. My wife, my daughter was 1 month old when we moved down there.
Okay.
Yeah. And we moved, and we whipped it into shape, got us a crew together, worked hard all summer long. And August hit, school started back, so we had a break. So we come back to the mountains to get our last load of stuff to take back to Florida. while we was in the mountains, we started hearing about a hurricane coming, Hurricane Charlie.
Oh, wow.
I told Sharon, I said, we better get back. So we headed back to Florida. And that was the first of 4 hurricanes.
Yes.
Unbeknown what was coming. And 3 days after the Hurricane Charlie hit, we finally had cell phone reception where Dr. Smith could get in touch with me. Now I'm going to tell you God.
It's okay. Woo, feel the Holy Ghost.
Yeah. He said, Charles, he said, I got to tell you something. He said, I had people that was willing to take that job and not even charge me. They just wanted to be there. He said, but God kept saying, no, it has to be Charles. And he said, and then you got stubborn on me and wouldn't come. But he said, I knew it had to be you all along. He said, roll up your sleeves, because he knew I'd done disaster relief. He knew me. You know, we worked well together.
Yes.
Not always agreed, but we worked well together.
Yes, it's all right.
Yeah. And he said, roll up your sleeves. Let's go to work. And I said, well, you're 3 days too late, brother.
See, I'm already working.
I mean, we had a facility there.
Yes.
We had this big convention center.
Look at
You
God.
know, we had the girls doing. We had all these resources. But the best part of all of that was that community and that convention center that belonged to the Church of God was not in good relationship. It didn't take me long to learn that after I got there, because there's graffiti and stealing and all of these bad things. Well, here come the next hurricane. Well, I went to the community and I said, we're going to do a shelter. And we're going to bring you into this convention center. Well, we did that. The first one, we had over 600 people in there.
Wow.
And, you know, I'm feeling this building shaking and rattling. And I'm walking through there. All right, Lord, you can't let nothing happen to these people. I got them in here.
Yes, yes.
But he didn't, but it's still scary.
Yes.
But it healed that community. The next hurricane we had, everybody in the community, I didn't have to do nothing. My staff had to do nothing. They all came in. They all moved the bunks in. They all cleaned up. They helped in everything and built a relationship with that community that healed them. And to this day, the director that's there now still has that same relationship with that community. Is that not awesome?
That is awesome.
So that goes to show you that in everything, you know,
God is moving.
You know, because we went from there to, we had to give up our job as the directors there and move to Mississippi and Louisiana. We actually lived in our motorhome and worked the disasters there for the church.
Okay.
But in all things, God knows what he's doing. I couldn't have done that, Tony.
I know.
There's no way that I could have done what took place in those years.
But look what he was doing.
Oh, I know.
He was preparing you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? To have your own business.
Yeah.
Okay?
He was.
And here we are.
Yeah.
With PuroClean.
That's right.
Okay?
Puro.
And you're doing all of those services and more.
Yeah.
And because you are the owner and CEO, let me say the king,
Yeah,
okay?
right.
No, we have on us 3 anointings: king, kingly, priestly, and prophet, right?
Yeah, but I try to stay the servant.
Now, you can't, you still trying to negotiate with God. And he's got to have his
I'd
way.
rather just say I'm servant and leave it at that.
That's all right.
God knows where I am.
Yes, he does,
yeah.
okay? And being a servant doesn't mean we don't have those anointings.
That's exactly
Okay?
right. I know that.
Because Jesus Christ was a king, but he was the servant of all.
That's right.
All right?
Amen.
But he prepared you for this because this is what he wanted you to do.
It is.
And it's not, and this is what I love, because God is all about the whole world. And so he's all about outreach.
Yeah.
It's not all, excuse me, y'all, don't send me no emails or anything. Hear what I'm going to say. It's not all about a church building.
No.
Okay? It's about going out. He called us out. Go
Amen.
into all the world.
Yeah.
And that includes the marketplace.
That's exactly right.
Amen?
Yes.
And so here you are, PuroClean.
That's right.
All right, now tell us all the different services that you provide.
Wow. Okay, we provide cleanup from water. Say you have a water bust in your home or business.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what size job it is.
Okay.
Trust me, I've been around long enough to have the resources to take care of anything.
Okay.
God has given me the ability through those disasters to have to handle big things that I didn't have a clue how to do, but he taught me.
Yes.
Same way in my business now. I have the resources to be able to take care of any job, whether it be the little job with a little puddle of water. People get upset when home's messed up.
Yes.
When mama's messed
When
up,
mama not happy.
everything's messed up. So, we can take care of that little puddle of water, or we can take care of the flooded home.
Yes.
And where God gives me just an awesome ability is to go meet this customer, because when home's messed up, the whole family's messed up.
Yes, sir.
We don't realize what home is for us
Yes.
until
Something like that happens.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we can take care of that. If you have a fire
Yes.
in your home, we can take care of that too.
All the smoke damage.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
All of that.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Same way with the business.
Yes.
We don't just work local. I'm part of the PuroClean cat response.
Yes.
We work
Explain
national.
the cat response.
Okay. Last year, we had Houston, we
Yes.
had Florida, we had California.
Yes.
We just come home from California in January this year. Last year was just, really bad.
Yeah, it
so
was.
we actually have a tractor and trailer now that we can load up, because I had smaller trailers, and everywhere where we went, we were overloaded. So
Yeah.
I decided I'd better get something I could be legal in.
Yeah. I'm not going to push that. Go ahead.
So, sometimes you just got to do it right.
Yes.
And God blessed us, to be able to get that tractor and trailer, because I'd been looking at it for many years.
Yeah.
For 3 years, actually, and couldn't get the guy where I wanted to be with it.
Yeah.
And then he calls me up and offers me a price that I just could not pass up. So that's good.
But this is what I call, that's when God turns the king's heart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah. So when I'm looking at something like that, and you really, God is giving you the price and everything, then you just have to wait on the Lord and just pray, and your prayer should be that he turns the king's heart.
Yeah.
And watch it work.
Yeah. Well, let's go back to where I said earlier. Sometimes I have to be careful with my missionary heart.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I have to be very, very prayerful about that, because, when you're in business, you got all these things you got to pay. It ain't just your employees. It's all the other things you got to pay
Right.
down the road. And you get these calls sometimes, and I'm like, Lord,
Yeah.
why? I need a paying job right now.
Right. Right.
But it don't always work that way. Sometimes I have to give first. We had a church, I won't mention the name, and they just didn't have no money. Honest to goodness, they had no money. It wasn't that they didn't want to pay. It wasn't, and they had to get it done because they were flooded. And come right down to it, me and my guys was making a plan, and it come out of my mouth before I could even stop it. I just said, go on, let's just go do it. And we went and did it, and those precious people, they brought us a meal this week that fit for a king. Speaking of the king.
But you know what? It is so amazing, because if you give with a great heart,
Yeah.
a cheerful heart,
Yeah.
God will always honor that.
Yeah.
Okay?
He does.
And he is going to make your business books balance out.
Yeah. He does. Him and my wife.
Yeah, and he is the provider.
Yeah.
And he tells us, don't be anxious for anything.
Right.
Okay? He'll pay your light bill. He'll pay. And if you got a business and you are a good steward, let me say it that way.
Good
You
steward,
are a good
right.
steward
Right.
with his business, because it's his,
That's right.
then it can't fail.
That's right.
Okay, and he will always provide. And so, I get you, and you do have to be wise, as Solomon taught us.
I do.
But you are wise.
Yeah.
but
He gives me that. He gives me that ability.
Yes. Yes.
And you know, my wife helps me. You know?
Yes,
She,
yes. I'm going to get her because she's not here sitting next to you.
She
'Cause
needed to be here.
Yes, she did. She's a powerful woman of God.
Well, you know, when
And
we first went into business, she told me, we'd been in business probably 2 years at that point. She said, honey, she said, you got to make a choice. You either got to do disaster relief and raise your monies or stay in business. Because she says, we get up and we do real good, and then there's a disaster happens, and at that time I didn't go do it on business. I went and done it.
Oh, okay.
She said, and you say, I'll be back in a week, and 2 or 3 weeks later, you show back up, and we ain't got no money.
Yeah. Because the businessman wins.
Yeah. So, you know, Tony, I didn't think I could give that part of it up. But I started praying about it when she said that, and God just, it was, you know how it is when
Yes,
you get that.
you get that release.
He released me from it, but
Yes.
he said it's not over. Well, you know, I didn't really know what he was talking about at the time, but what we've been saying now about the opportunities that he gives me to help,
Yes.
that's what he meant when he said it's not over.
Mm-hmm.
It's never. If there's a business person watching or listening to this,
Come on, talk to him.
don't be afraid. Just step out there, because God can't let you down. His word said he'd never forsake us.
Stand on his promises.
I may be 6'6", but he gave me a big old humble heart, and I hope I never change.
Me too. I hope you don't either. Before we close here, there was a couple of articles. Adrian, I'm going to put those up because you all's company does so much, not only for this community at large, but throughout this nation. Because when you called upon, and I know you and Sharon, and I know your hearts that even when you go to California, you're loving on people.
That's right.
You're sharing your testimony. You're talking about our Father and our big brother, Jesus Christ.
Amen.
And we're also talking about our first cousin, the Holy Spirit, that leads and guides us.
He does.
So, and it was just wonderful that in 2017, and I think even this year, you were recognized, your organization was recognized. There's the article goes in, we got the article to even put up here. Adrian's just so good. There it is. And showing your wonderful family over there. Harrison's not there, your son.
He don't like pictures.
He don't. He doesn't. But this is all about this business and the wonderful impact that they do on this community, and not just our community, the Ocoee region, but to the United States. But it's about a business. It's about a family. It's about great employees that you have, and I have the privilege and honor to know some of them. And you just, as you said in this article, God's hands and feet.
Yes. Amen. That's right.
And I just want this region to know this is a business led by a godly man, built on godly principles. And it's going to flourish. It's going to be successful because it's God. He does it unto God.
Yes.
And these are the businesses that we really need to support, that we need to call.
That's right.
When we need a service.
Please do.
And I know for me in my house, I want people who can come into my house and they can be working on cleaning it. They can be getting rid of mold, but they praying at the same time.
Exactly. That's right.
So especially in this world that we are in. But before we close, and I know you've talked a couple of times, but I just really want to give you an opportunity to tell this community why they should, if they need any of these property damage services, why they should call you, especially businesses and residents. And then just then whatever God puts on your heart.
Well, as we were talking earlier, just like the disasters, I learned some things about mold.
Oh,
I got through into it, didn't have a clue what I was doing, started trying to research and find, and they hired an expert to come and work with me for 3 months.
wow.
I learned more in 3 months from this man than I would have in years. Yeah, and I am a mold expert because, God taught me. I had to learn it because we had, just in Florida alone, the first hurricane, first year there, we had 153 churches destroyed.
Wow.
So what I was facing there, I needed to know what I was doing. So my training, not just, we go to training. I have all the certifications that I need.
Yes.
And they're good.
Yes.
Harrison's the same way. He actually has more certifications than I do now.
Okay.
But, I know the business inside and out. I know when I step out of my truck, people don't realize, but I'm already assessing
Yes.
your home or your business to see what the issues are. Because if you don't find the issues of what's going on, you can clean all day and eventually it's going to come back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No matter what it is, whether it's water, whether it's mold,
Yes.
whether it's sewer,
Yes. Yes.
So, God has given me that ability. He's give Harrison, my son, ever since he's a little bitty baby, he's run behind his daddy,
Trained up in the business.
Yeah, in Florida, he was right behind his
Yes.
daddy through all of those. So, he come on into the business. He knows it very, very well. So, you're not just getting somebody that went to school and, this is what I am.
Yeah.
God trained me. That's the only way I know to say it. But he gave me a heart in that training to try to take care of you and your family or your business, because I'm a business, I know.
Yes.
When things go down, you got to get it back. If I have
That's right.
equipment that goes down, I got to get it back quick.
Yes.
Because that's how I make my living.
Yes.
Well, I go into a job with that same aspect. They got to get back in their home. They got to get back in their business.
Yes.
So I put every effort I can into making sure that I keep things rolling.
Amen.
Sometimes they call it micromanaging, but that's okay.
That's all right.
I'm
Because
looking out
sometimes
for my
it takes
customer.
that. Yes. Sometimes it takes that.
Yeah, but I tell everybody, my wife don't really like this quote, but I do. If it's nasty, we can clean it up.
I love that
If
quote.
it was pretty, you wouldn't be calling us.
I would have no need for you.
That's exactly right.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
And I love the fact on mold, because mold is my enemy.
Everybody's enemy.
I know it is everybody,
Yes.
but if you want to see me really lose it,
Yeah.
because I'm allergic,
Right.
and in this Tennessee Valley,
Yes.
oh my God.
It's rampant.
Yeah, it is. And I came from the Ohio Valley, and
Yeah.
it's rampant there. But,
It is.
But can I tell you, this mold down here,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Yeah.
I was here a few months, and I was waking up, and I said, I was in this old building.
Yeah.
I'm not going to name it.
Right.
And I was like, oh my God. And I said, I haven't had this in years. What is this? And come finding out, this old building was full of mold.
Let me give you a tidbit of information here. In this area, in this region,
Mm-hmm.
most people never look under their house. Most of the homes here have crawl spaces. And most people never look at under their house. And 90% of the time, that's your issue.
Yes.
If you fix this down here, the rest of it's going to be okay.
Yes.
And 90% of the ones we go under has issues. Some worse than others. But we don't charge you anything to come and look at it.
Okay.
That assessment, I'm going to come out and I'm going to inspect it, and I'm going to tell you the truth. You're going to get a report, and it may not always be what you want to hear.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you the truth.
But that is good, because people need to know, because that affects your respiratory.
Oh, it affects everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
And if you are staying sick,
Yep.
you really need to look
Yeah.
for that.
That's right.
Okay, and where I lived, I said she was always sick. And I said, that's because this place is sitting on mold.
Yeah. Well, it's called the flu effect.
Uh-huh.
If you have mold under the floor of your home, a house breathes from the ground up.
Wow.
Now, I'm going to tell you, you think, well, we got the floor between us, we got carpet, we got tile between us. That's just like having a screen door between you and that mold.
Okay.
It just comes right up to it because of the fact that mold spores are so small.
Yes.
They pass through that just like it's a screen door. So,
Wow.
and if you have a 2-story home and you have mold in your crawl space or in your basement, when you go to the 3rd floor where you usually sleep, you breathe more there than you do on the 2nd floor.
Wow.
Yeah, because of the flue effect.
Okay.
It all comes
It's
up, pulls up. Yeah.
Wow.
It's amazing. Over the years, I've learned this because I would do testing, and I'm thinking, well, there's nothing here, and then go upstairs, and boom, there it is again, you know? So it's just nature. You know,
Yes.
that's the way it is.
Well, I thank you for coming on today. I think we've learned a lot.
Had a good time.
And me too. And you know what? I just want to say this because I'm sure there's a lot of water damage going on right now.
There
I
is.
mean, you know, look at God's timing for you to come in because you know He's supposed to have been in here some weeks ago.
Yep.
And look at this timing.
That's right.
So you really need to contact PuroClean. Can we go back to that real quick? I just want to make sure everybody has, yes, PuroClean Property Damage Expert. The number is 423-790-3500. You can go to their website and also their Facebook page.
That's right.
And they can contact you, and you definitely will come out and do an assessment.
Yes, ma'am.
Free of charge.
Yes, ma'am.
And I think everybody, especially with this rain here lately, you got to be careful about that mold.
That's right.
I'm really, I can tell you what it does to me, and so I just really urge you. But more importantly, let's support this business, this family, who really supports our community. I could be here for another hour talking about how much they do, not only for the Ocoee region, but for the nation. And I even know recently he went somewhere, traveled on his own expense, and got some beds for a shelter, a new shelter that's coming up that we need.
That's right.
And he got a call and got involved and traveled somewhere to get some beds. And you know, I love this community, and I love the people in this community.
That's right.
Because it is, you said it in your article, it's such a godly community, and it's such a giving community. But one of the reasons why it is because of people like Charles and Sharon Atkins and their family. And it's just been an honor today that you all have joined us on another segment of Hidden Gems of the Ocoee region. And I hope you'll join me again when I come back in June with another great show, Hidden Gems of the Ocoee region. This is Tony Miles, and God bless.